All right, it is episode 72 of the Zenspath 4-Button Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me, hopefully without errors this time, Rachel.
Hello, guys. Hello. I'm glad to be back this week. And did you know that when you play Uno, you can't stack +4 or +2 cards?
You can in my house, damn it. I make the
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, house rules trump actual rules, in my opinion. But people had their mind blown when apparently the people who made the Uno card game said, "Hey, you can't stack these," and they went, "No, I'm gonna do it anyway.
We can do that.
We could do whatever we want because it's our game."
Right? Oh, man. So, how you been? I know it was just the two of us last episode. It's going to be just the two of us this episode. I'm cool with that because, it's always fun doing a show with you. It's always great to have you on here. So we have a lot to nerd out about today. We had San Diego Comic-Con that we're going to talk about. We got some movie and news and game announcements and a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to go into. But before we go into that, Rachel, what you been doing?
Well, so I got the live alive. I'm
Live
just
a
gonna
live,
keep
laugh and laugh, love and love.
exactly. Live alive and laugh and love. Whatever the name of the game is. I got it in the mail. I also got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in the mail. But you know what I haven't done? I haven't played either of them. Both of them are sitting in the saran wrap. One of them is over there on my bedside table. The other one is in the living room. I just literally have not had time or energy or attention span to do anything like that this week or last week, apparently.
Welcome to that adult life.
Yeah. It's
what are
not
you doing?
that
Not what I want to be doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I have time because I the latest I get home now is like 5, maybe 6 o'clock. And that just depends on what I'm doing that day and if I have to run any errands after work. Like, I can run errands after work now. I don't have to run them on weekends unless I just, have to.
Right.
Like, I have to run, like, one errand tomorrow, but it'll take me a whole of an hour, so it's no big deal.
Well, your day's ruined.
I know. But, listen, I need paper plates, okay? I'm out of paper plates. It's a necessity.
They have these
things
called dishes. They're rewashable.
Sometimes I don't want to dirty up a dish to wash it. I just want to get a paper plate and throw it away. Don't judge me, man.
Rachel's being a weird kind of environmentalist.
I'm saving water by using paper. So fancy that.
Well, yeah, if you get the fancy paper plates, it's okay. It's fancy. It's the dinner time.
Actually, the crappier the paper plate, unless they're like the styrofoam ones, the better they are because they're more paper-like.
I think I have to at least have a paper plate that can handle a pizza for more than a few minutes.
Well,
if it's just fall through, because I like that greasy good pizza.
I mean, like I have the paper plate holders that you stick the paper plates into. Like I'm not a complete heathen.
I'm not a monster,
but
I'm a person.
I did play and stream some Stray last week when last week when that dropped on PlayStation for free with PlayStation Plus. It's cute. It's not hard. It's got a kind of an interesting take on like the apocalypse. But I will tell you, there's these like the enemies in the game is called the Zerks.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, are the sequences where you're running from the Zerks and it's kind of puzzly getting away from them and figuring that out. It makes me anxious. Like I get real anxious during those sequences. I don't know why. I just do. But so far I'm liking it. It's cute.
Well, I mean, it's that stress of being hunted, probably.
Probably.
I really want to play this one. I'm ordering the physical copy because that's I'm weird like that.
That's I would definitely your play thing.
Oh, there's the yawn.
There's the yawn.
For those playing the drinking game, start now. Like a Rachel Yawn's drinking game.
Listen,
you're responsible for like multiple deaths and a liver failure.
I essentially get up at 5 every day, so This is tired, Rachel.
Yeah.
Um,
She's an hour in the future from me, so she's just like, we should have done this already.
so I also started playing Black Flag again for fun, mainly because there's a lot of Ubisoft stuff on PlayStation right now that you could just play if you have PlayStation Plus. They even have like Valhalla. I don't think they have Origins though. And of course I already have Odyssey. And I rediscovered the modes where they're like the educational modes.
Yeah, those are impressive looking.
I was like, "Oh my god, this is all I ever wanted in a game. Completely stress and anxiety free, just looking around and learning about stuff." Like, I was like, "This is amazing." But to
I
be
wish more
honest,
games would do that. It's so cool.
me too. I wish they could go back and add in that mode for Black Flag because that would have been my jam. Like, Ubisoft, please, for the love of God, like release that. Like, I would pay money
And
for
this
that.
is where the pirates would go when they had, they'd come down with scurvy before they caught syphilis
So
or killing each other
educational.
with madness. Yes.
But really, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why, oh, here we go again. Ooh. Um,
I keep thinking of the
yeah,
drinking game now. I'm going to make that a thing.
but man, if you're watching this and you're trying to count the yawns and you're drinking whenever I yawn, you're gonna be blackout drunk in 20 minutes.
If I had the extra time, I should add a counter to the video and just like a little ding, ding, just like have it go through. I love you to death, Rachel, but it would be
It
hilarious.
probably would. Like, I'm not even ashamed. I'm not even bothered by this.
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to do it
Um,
eventually because yeah, it's people listening to this are probably already yawning, going like, damn it.
But I started playing Black Flag again, mainly because I was playing lots of Sea of Thieves, so I'm on a pirates kick right now. And I played it just so I could sail around and stuff and listen to the shanties. Like, I'm in the Havana portion of the game right now, and I was just remembering, why is this game so much harder than I remember it being? Like, it's not even it's not hard per se, but it's like I don't remember the enemies spotting me as much. Like, what happened to my stealth? Did I lose? Am I less stealthy now? Is the AI smarter? What kind of updates did they run? Like, geez. So I don't know. But oh, here we go again. The yawns are endless. But yeah, and of course I already said this, but I'm playing more Sea of Thieves, doing like Sunken Kingdom things and leading some friends through like the Pirates Life stuff, which I've done for so many people now. Um I can do the first like mission or the first episode of the Pirates Life stuff in Sea of Thieves so well now that I can help people 100% it, like get all the little achievements and commendations and stuff like that.
Oh,
Can I do
nice.
that on the second one? No. Can I do that on the third one? Also no. But the
We can
first one,
try.
I've got you, fam. I've got you. But
We need to
um
stream it. We need to get together and play it
it's
again.
honestly, we do. But a story from when I played it the other day with my friend is we were doing some Sunken Kingdom stuff and we got
Hmm.
finally a coral bottle, which part of like you get sent on quests
Hmm.
when you get coral bottles and they send you to certain sunken like this is like mermaid stuff or siren stuff. You get
Right.
sent to these certain underwater parts where you swim down and you either do like this Colosseum style, oh Lord, um battle. I know it's going to be happening a lot. You just got to get used to it.
Now that
Um
I've called it out, it's so much better now.
you got to do this Coliseum stuff, and if you get through all the rounds, once you get through all the rounds, you then go to this treasure room, and then you get to put all your treasure back on your ship and go, take it to the nearest outpost. But when me and my friend got up there,
Hmm.
literally, there was a dude waiting for us, killed us both, sunk our ship, and stole all of our crap. When I
So you
tell
got
you,
pirated,
yes, but here's the thing. The last
dickishly
couple
pirated.
the last couple times that I've played Sea of Thieves, people have
Uh-huh.
been pretty chill. Like if you have the alliance flag up, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you want to start an alliance? We can split the share of that treasure." See, the thing is, people don't get
Right.
it. When you have alliances, there's no downside. You don't I don't lose any money from me getting the treasure, and you gain a little extra even though you didn't find it. Like, there's no downsides to this. But you know what people do? They sink your ship anyway. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
I
so
like
stupid.
cooperative multiplayer. I always preferred it.
Yeah.
That's why like horde modes were always my preferred because you're working with people against, the AI to do stuff and
And you can work with people, but only if they want to work with
ding.
you. But only if they want to work with you. So sometimes I'll get out my like megaphone thing in the game and be like, I'm friendly. Do you want an alliance? Like, we can do an alliance. You don't have to do this. And then I proceed to call them, rude, if they
Rude.
try to sink me. And I'm like, yo, I was trying to be nice. You're just being a dick. Thanks.
Gotta love it.
I'm like, our hard work getting this treasure then means nothing because they were just like, I'm gonna be a dick and sink these fools.
Yeah, there's always
That's
griefers that pop up on occasion.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't play, and I tell people that, like, I don't play MMOs or like anything with PvP, really. I don't do that because it pisses me off, and two, it gives me anxiety because I worked very hard to do certain things, and I do not like player killers. Like, I do not like people who do that. Like, if you're
Yeah,
in
if
a
you're gonna do
let's
PvP, there should be a place for it.
Yeah. And I get it. I get it. Piracy is piracy in the context of Sea of Thieves. But
You wouldn't copy a floppy. You wouldn't steal a treasure. You
but it's just one of those things that it's like if you want to not do PvP in Sea of Thieves, you should be able to be allowed to not participate in PvP. I don't know how they'll do it, but I hope that they figure it out because
right.
it's very tiring.
I can imagine. All right.
But
Well, go ahead.
yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. What have you been doing, Jeremy?
Well, I have somewhat sad news. I sold my Scion, my 2013 XD that I've had for the past 10 years. On the plus side, I get to do this, which I don't get to do very often. um,
And that's when a burglar broke into Jeremy's house and robbed him blind.
yeah, no, this should go to the bank ASAP.
Yeah.
This is the down payment on my new car because I am getting, and I've already put the deposit down on it, so I'm getting it in September. So sorry, you people are going to have to hear about this when I get it. A Hyundai Ioniq 5. I'm going all electric. So we'll see how that works out. I'm giving up on gas and going for a full electric vehicle. I get it next month, or not next month. Sorry, because by the time this comes out, it'll be August, and then I get it September 5th, I think. Right as I return from Dragon Con. I wish I could get it a few days earlier because then we could drive it to Atlanta and back
And
and not
save
have to pay
so
for
much.
gas.
Exactly. Save that money in gas. Whereas now you have to drive essentially a gas guzzler.
Well, I'm not taking the truck. We're not. I'm
Oh,
driving it. Yeah,
good.
right now I'm
That's good.
temporarily driving a Ford 2003 F-150 until my car gets here. That's the extra vehicle we purchased for my son. We're taking Jeremy Jr.'s car. His car is a Ford, and we're driving that up there with Remy and all them. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to this car. There will be pictures and videos. Uh, we've been playing a lot of Minecraft on the Realm server because that's still a thing. Even though nobody else seems to wants to join us, Brent and I have been playing the living crap out of it. Hint, hint, if people want to join, please let me know. And then lastly, Forza Horizon 5, the Hot Wheels update. I play the crap out of Forza. I love this game. But I have almost like an incessant need the first time I play one of these new maps. I have to drive every road. I have to get that achievement and finish it. So I sat there in one sitting, drove every single part of it till I got the achievement, just mapping it out as I went. But that whole Hot Wheels world up there is just crazy because they've added in where now it tells you the tilt of your car, which can go upside down because people were getting motion sickness because you're spinning around these tracks so much. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we all remember Hot Wheels tracks. They're ridiculous. Now you're driving them. And I also did find out what happens if you try and stop in the middle of a loop. You will just fall. And if you're too far to the side and you don't go fast enough, you'll just slide down. So, yeah. But I really haven't been playing too much stuff. We've started watching What We Do in the Shadows, the new season of that.
So damn good. So damn good. I have been watching that myself. I'm very much enjoying it. It's
Yes, I know you're a huge fan of that show as well.
it
It's
is literally the best
uh,
show on television, and nobody can tell me otherwise. So,
I laugh every time I watch it. It's been great. So
I cry with laughter every time for
I'm still
sure that I
trying to
watch
find a
it.
good copy of the movie this is based from because
Oh,
they're tangentially connected, but it's been so annoyingly difficult to find it to buy
really?
online.
Really?
Yeah,
I own it.
yeah. God dang it. We may have to make an exchange. We'll see. I still want to get it because I want to watch it because it just looks really funny. Because that's a Taika Waititi group thing.
Yeah, it's got, Jermaine Clement in it too.
Yes,
So,
which I love Jermaine Clement for a lot of the stuff. I used to love watching them on the oh, was it Flight of the Concords? All their music
yeah,
they do on the
fun.
old HBO show was great.
Um Out of curiosity,
Yes,
what format do you want it on? The movie.
I like to find a Blu-ray.
Okay.
I kept trying to see if anybody had streaming, but most of the time when I try and find DVD or Blu-ray, it would say it was sold out or not available, like they went out of print or something. Now, if you found it that quickly while on the air to make me look like a fool, I'm okay with that because I'll get my movie. I'll look a fool and get to watch it. It's gonna pop up on Discord and I'll be like, "Give me a second, guys," and make y'all wait while I pay for it. Yeah, maybe not. So I guess that's all I've really been playing right now. So I guess we can go ahead and start jumping into the news because we do have a bunch of stuff going on this week. As I said before, a bunch of San Diego Comic Con and other things, but we do have, sadly, 2 deaths to mention. There's actually been more. I just haven't had a chance to add all of them. Like, there's been a lot of people dying this week. But are you familiar with David Warner?
Um, I don't, the name
All right, how
kind of
about this?
sounds familiar.
Do you remember the scientist from Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze? Or possibly the guy that played Master Control, Dillinger, and Sark back in Tron, like the big bad guy. He was evil in Time Bandit, St. John Talbot in Star Trek 5, Chancellor Gorkin in Star Trek 6.
Okay, so I recognize the Star Trek stuff and the Time Bandits one. So,
Right. He was
and
also Gul Madred in Star Trek Next Generation, those really famous episodes of Chain of Command 1 and 2. He was the voice of Ra's al Ghul in Batman the Animated Series. Professor Jordan Perry in TMN2, Secret of the Ooze, like I said earlier. And then one that most people don't remember, Winston Smiles in The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., which is a series that I got to watch a lot as a kid, but most people just don't remember it. But sadly, he passed away recently at the age of 80, but from cancer. So as the one F-bomb for this episode, and also in memory of my brother, cancer. And then the next one, I know you watch Doctor Who, correct?
yeah, I did see that death.
Yes, Bernard Cribbins.
I was
Um,
very upset for a little bit.
he played Wilfred Mott on Doctor Who. He passed away at the age of 93. He did finish filming all of his scenes for the 60th anniversary special, so he will appear one more time on Doctor Who as his character. Which I'm wondering if they're going to have like a memorial thing to him on
They'll
there
probably
or in
dedicate
commemorative.
the. I imagine they'll dedicate the film to him in some way.
Yeah, because his character on that show was like very touching for that whole scenario of what he had to deal with and how that was. Like he was very memorable. So yeah, that was two people that I've watched for years and known that are kind of they're gone now. Sadly,
It is sad.
I'm just getting links left and right from Rachel finding stuff. She's like, "Look what I found."
Listen, ask and ye shall receive.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be buying this stuff later. Not on the show. I'll be nice about it. All right, well, continuing on with the news, going into what we got going on, Platinum Games states it will be entering a quote new era as Nintendo veteran becomes their new vice president. Um, Takeo Yamane, I apologize if I have mispronounced that because I probably have. He was a higher up at multiple Nintendo divisions, including general licensing manager for Nintendo in Kyoto, managing director of sales, planning, and strategy for Nintendo of Europe, and VP of Nintendo of France. Platinum Games, along with the New Era statement, said it would be, quote, significantly changed its future outlook. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to mean a tighter connection with Nintendo, because Platinum has been doing a lot directly with them. You know, we got Bayonetta 3 coming out, and they've got a couple other games they've been doing just on, you know, designed for the Switch and putting them out there before they release them on other systems. So I don't know. You think we're going to see more stuff from Platinum, Nintendo specific, or?
I mean, I think it's possible considering that they're getting someone that is literally from Nintendo. So I think that's a kind of a step toward just doing Nintendo stuff because I mean they're selling well on Nintendo.
Yeah.
The games that they produce sell exceedingly well on the Switch, and it sold well on previous platforms too. So
Yeah, and they've had a good relationship with Nintendo where Nintendo will help fund projects like the Bayonetta series now. Those stay exclusive to the console, but then they have other ones that they do where Nintendo helps out but lets them put it out in different places over time. So we'll see. You know, I don't think they'll be exclusive, but maybe timed exclusive for some of them, with a couple mixed in there that are, you know, Switch only. But speaking of exclusives going out into the wild, No More Heroes 3 is heading to Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC on October 11th. This was originally a Nintendo Switch exclusive game for the past couple of months or a year. It's available for pre-order on Xseed's website for $60 and includes a soundtrack, art book, and commemorative license plate. So the music in that game is interesting. You ever play much No More Heroes or any of them?
what? Oh, No More Heroes. Sorry. Um, but No More Heroes. I remember when the first game came out
Okay.
and I was like, "Ooh, cell shaded stuff." And it looked
On the
very
Wii.
yes. It looked very zany and very quirky. I think I was working at GameStop at the time.
I can see that.
I think I
Probably
was.
were.
And it was I just for whatever reason I never played it. Maybe at the time I didn't have my Wii anymore. And I mean I guess I when I got the Wii U, maybe I would have had the opportunity to play it then. But you know what I didn't do? Play that game. I mean, I'm interested in it, but right now I'm just like I'm trying to work my way through my current backlog.
Yeah, it's super
Um,
quirky. Some people like it. Some people doesn't really click with them. I'm glad they made them, but yeah, it's not for everybody.
it looks funny and
And there's
wild.
another one.
Yep, and wild.
Shots, shots, shots. All right.
Like I like weird games like that. Like I there it's
It's
a breath
extremely
of
over the top.
they're a breath
Again,
of fresh air.
yeah, it's extremely over the top, extremely violent for the way they do stuff. Like you're
Mhm.
cutting off limbs and blood spraying everywhere, and they're
Mhm.
actually a lot of fun. It's not the deepest game; like it gets a little shallow as you go along, but a lot of it's just kind of going along with that story and doing the challenges. But it's still a fun series. I'm glad to see more people getting to play No More Heroes 3. Because No
Yeah,
More Heroes 1 and 2 were available on other systems as well. So, you know,
right.
there's no point. You know, we don't want to do like a Shenmue thing where 1 and 2 were brought to Xbox and PlayStation and all that. Then 3 is only on a PlayStation and everyone else is like, really? What the hell,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, it's like doing one of those collector things. They collect them all, but they're very hard to find. Ooh.
It's not even collect them all. Like they just didn't put it on there. And you're like, well, I can't
Yeah.
finish it. What the crap? So, yeah. All right. Well, speaking of collecting them all, have you seen much of this of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pack Wave 2? Say that 5 times fast. Has been announced for August 4th. And we have a list now of the tracks coming for these two cups. Sky High Sunday is an actual new track. We thought these were all going to be uh, repeat tracks being brought back and updated, but no, this one's actually new, but it apparently will be added to Mario Kart Tour at a later date, as there was a note on the video, but it looked like a lot of fun.
So
N6. Oh, go ahead.
So here's the thing. I love how they were just like, we're developing this new track for Mario Kart Tour. But you know what? Let's put it in the booster pack. Let's put it in the booster pack first.
I'm
Because
okay with that.
I guess maybe that's what I would have done. Maybe it's easier for them to update or, fool around with it when it goes out
Well,
on on the Switch instead of on mobile. So,
honestly, I think it's not too bad. Like they're doing a good job of being able to convert between the two of them. I'm not a
mhm,
huge fan of Tour, but they have considered that as an official Mario Kart, as much as I hate
mhm.
to admit it. But the courses that have come over have been fun. Like I have
They
to
have
admit, they
been.
have been a lot of fun, and I like them.
That ninja one, the like
Yes,
ninja one in the last booster course pack.
that one's
I
so
oh,
trippy
it was so trippy, and like
because there's so many layers
there's so many layers and so many ways that you can complete the track
or
and
get lost.
or get lost, right? Or die.
Yeah.
I had a real fun time with the first wave, so I'm really looking forward to perfecting these tracks as well. Um, and also, I don't know if they've patched this out, but as long as one person
Hmm.
owns the essentially the expansion pack for that allows you to get this
Yep.
or has purchased this, you can play these tracks with any of your friends if you're playing online.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Everybody gets them in the update. You just get access to them with either the Nintendo Switch Online
Mhm.
plan or
Yep, so
the
as long as one
expansion
person
pack plan. Yeah.
as long as one person has access and you're playing online with a bunch of friends, you can all play it.
It makes sense because if one person buys these tracks to play with their friends, it doesn't help everybody if everybody has to buy them. What's the
Right.
fun in that?
But, it's one of these things that like, okay, yeah, you can play it when you're playing with your friends, but, a lot of times there are people like, "Man, I really like these tracks. I wanna play with other friends." And then they probably end up buying it, and it's just a domino effect. Like, that always weirded me out with, like, and I'm glad that they allowed that kind of access, but it weirded me out when certain, like, companies, like, try to take away that kind of thing or
Hmm.
decided to prevent that kind of thing, and I'm just like, you do realize that enabling, like, you know, allowing people to essentially play your game for free with friends is free advertising essentially for
Well,
them to buy it.
I remember
So,
back on like the 360 PS3 days, there was I think one of the Call of Duties that got some downloadable maps, and if
mhm.
you hadn't bought them, they would still be in the sequence as you're going through changing maps, but you would
Yeah.
just get kicked out to the lobby or have to wait while other people went and played it, and you had to wait. I was like, that
Mhm.
was the worst
It was,
because they
yeah.
would focus on those trying to get people to buy the maps, like
I think I
make you
remember
do it.
hearing about that, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say it was either Call of Duty or Battlefield at the time, but I know they got so much crap for that. But continuing the list of Mario Kart tracks we have here, the rest of them are returning from different games. N64 Calamari Desert's coming back, so you get to rush that train and try not to get run over.
Give it to
Uh,
me.
yeah, that was always a good one. The whole map looks really good. The SNES Mario Circuit 3, which was always a classic flat map, they've brought back to 3D for that one. Wii Mushroom Gorge. This one I loved because you would be able to do those jumps and bounce off the mushrooms as you went
Mhm,
across to try
mhm.
and get the riskier shortcut. For Mario Kart Tour, they're doing the Sydney Sprint. I'm going to save that one for last because I'm going to get loud. Game Boy Advance Snowland.
Good one,
We
good one.
have, yeah, that is a fun one. Another one from Tour called New York Minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
Mental drum roll, please, everybody. Oh
For
my
the DS,
god.
we got Waluigi Pinball.
Waluigi Pinball!
I love this map. Like, always love this track. I was so happy to see it come back. And it looks
When
like they
I
did a really good job with that too. Like it looks
this
great.
Listen, if you have not played Mario Kart on the DS, you don't have to now because the only track that truly 100% matters is Waluigi Pinball. So get yourself the expansion pack. Buy this booster pack for all I care, just so you can play Waluigi Pinball because this shit slaps. And
It's a
that's our one
giant
curse word.
pinball table
Yeah.
with great
It
music
slaps. And I
and
mean
they cleaned
literally,
it up great.
it does slap. It slaps you with
Yeah, you the paddles,
the paddles,
the
the
flippers,
flippers. Yeah,
paddles, whatever they're called.
whatever. So it not only does it slap, but it literally slaps.
I was just so happy to see this one come back. That was one of the ones I was really hoping for. So as soon as I
Listen,
saw that, I was like, yes.
if this is what they give us in wave 2, what's next? What are they going to give us in the next wave?
Yeah, we still have like 48 tracks to go or something like
Yeah,
that. Like it's ridiculous.
it's
Like we're
ridiculous.
doubling the game or
Like
more.
what else could they possibly add? I'm trying to think if there's anything from like Double Dash that I was like, hell yeah, give me that.
I want what was it? Peach's cruise ship. I think that was a
Oh
good one.
yeah,
The
that was
cruise
a good
liner.
one.
That was a great map. Like I want that one for sure. Um, I mean, we've got so many yet to come. Somebody said they data mined it and looked and said that the N64 tracks are done, which is kind of I'm hoping that's not the case because like the DK Island one was really good. I wanted that one to come back.
So
They had the big paddle boat and
there
stuff.
was a Wario one in Double Dash that I was like,
Yep, Wario Stadium or Wario Coliseum.
yeah, that one. Listen, if they did Waluigi Pinball, they better give us the Wario one from Double Dash. Nintendo,
Oh
if you're
yeah,
listening, please, complete the duo. Give it to us. Give it
give
to
us
us,
the good
please.
ones. Give us the goods.
Give us the good stuff, the good tracks.
We're begging, Daddy Nintendo. Come on, please, please. That's gonna be clipped in the worst way. Uh,
Yeah, it is. It probably is. Joey's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh my god, I'm not here, and they're trying to channel me."
yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, speaking of channeling things, I'm trying to do some good conversions or switchovers here. Lego is releasing an Atari 2600 set for $239.99. Goes on sale August 1st. But before you gawk at the incredibly high price of this, it's actually really cool. It's comprising of 2,532 pieces. This set will feature the main Atari 2600 with all of its wood grain glory in Legos, with the front of it, the whole top slides open to pop out a late 1970s, early 1980s living room with a CRT TV, a little tiny miniature Atari, a kid playing it, roller skates, posters, headphones, something called a VHS tape. Ask your parents, kids, or if you're really young, ask your grandparents. Oh, I hate to say that.
I hate
Uh,
to say that too. Oh my god, I still have some
yeah,
VHS tapes.
it has a wall-mounted phone. That's right, kids. Phones could not be walked around with. A cat.
I almost miss house phones.
Oh yeah, I used to pace back and forth in the kitchen talking to friends.
Yep, me too.
It would drive my parents nuts.
I would wear I wore like an indent like in our carpet.
I would overstretch the cord so it would never go back right and it would all spin up and get difficult. Yeah, I remember that. Um, they have little miniature action figures that are Lego pieces that come in there. But the cool extra thing they did, there's 3 replica Atari cartridges that come with it. Centipede, Adventure, and Asteroids. Some of the best known for the system. They can fit into the system and look like they're being played, or each one opens up and becomes its own mini diorama for the game. So you get like the little castle and the dragon from Adventure, you get the little centipede and the ship from Centipede, and then Asteroids is like an asteroid and the little ship and a shot coming off of it that you can make and set up and then put them away back as a cartridge and put them back in there. This thing is ridiculous. Like I wish they would do this with the NES. Like give me little dioramas of NES games. Like that would be a way to expand because I have the NES with the TV. I would buy more cartridges to stack them up and have them there. If I could also open those things up and make them dioramas, like that would be totally worth it to me. Because you imagine like classic NES games, where you have that, like do Super Mario Brothers and have like a little scene in there, jumping in a fire, one of the castles, or Castlevania or Metroid.
That would be
Poor
pretty
Caleb
neat.
would lose. Poor Caleb would lose his mind if it was Metroid.
Oh, he would buy it just for that.
Yeah, crying in
Like
joy as he's
hands
playing with
down.
Legos. So I don't know. I might try and get this. It's a little tight because I'm buying a car. But this Atari looks so cool, and I want to put it next to my NES. So, is this something that would interest you at all? I know you're a younger generation than I originally was, so the Atari 2600 was such a far off thing from you. Like I experienced it towards the end and mid of its life. As I got a little bit older, it was kind of fading out, and the NES had taken over. But I think by your childhood, hell, the NES had faded out. I think it was like Super Nintendo and PlayStation or
So,
N64.
when I was young, I didn't my first console was a Game Boy Color. Like that was the first one that I
Huh.
owned and played. And
Right.
then I had the Game Boy Advance, and then I had the GameCube, which I bought myself. The GameCube at least. But
Get McCube.
I grew up at my friend Cassie's house playing the PS1 and the N64 and the Super Nintendo and the SNES. That's where my interest in gaming came from, was Cassie.
Right.
And we also like played the Nancy Drew games on the PC, which absolutely slap. If you have not played those, they're amazing. They're great. Um, but I know what the Atari is. I've seen an Atari. I've played one, but I don't have any memories of it, of
Yeah.
like fond things. Like my parents know what they are. Well, at least my mom does. Um, but that's just because her brother, my uncle Jack, was kind of into that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but not like super into that kind of thing. So he knew what that was. But that was the only reason she knew, was that he knew what it was. So,
Well, let me ask you this. So, for my childhood, the very first game console I ever saw was an Atari 2600. I didn't get to play it much, but that was my first experience with it. And then I got my NES
mhm,
a couple of years later, and I was in. Between
mhm.
that and that original Macintosh that I got to see, those are the startings of my gaming history. And seeing those in a Lego form with these ideas was really cool. What two systems would you choose for you to be that for you
Well,
for your age?
I'm not really big into Lego, so this
Well, I
isn't
mean, like
something
that kind of set. Like if it came out, it'd be kind of neat. I know you're not
like
a
this
Lego
wouldn't
thing, but like, what would be the equivalent for you if you had to choose?
I'd say like a PlayStation or an N64, honestly. Like
Okay, that's a
that's
good set
the
for generation.
that is um the one of the defining, I think, two of the defining consoles of the 90s, essentially, are those two consoles. Um Not to, poo poo on the original Xbox, but that one didn't come till later.
Oh,
And,
it's nothing wrong with that. That's why I said this is your choice
yeah,
from your experiences, so that makes sense.
mhm. But I'd say the N64 and the original PlayStation, because
Okay.
those are just very defining, I think, for that era. Was it the first
Well,
thing I played? No. But you can't really do Game Boy, I don't think, very well, in Lego form.
I think you
They'd
can
have
make
to
a good
they
Lego for the
they
look of it. You can't play them, but
they'd have to get very creative with it. But if they did that, they'd have to do the purple translucent one, because
yes,
and how they do that, I don't know. But
they have purple translucent Legos. It would look a
they
little
do.
weird, but they've done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
let me ask you this then. One extra question for this because it's fun. For that PlayStation and that N64, if they came with, we'll say, two or three games each that could be little dioramas, which ones would just be like, okay, I don't. You would have to go buy Legos to get these. Like you don't care. You'll do it for those.
if it was PlayStation, it would probably be, Final Fantasy VII for
I knew
me.
that one was going to be there.
Like, literally, I mean, how could you not? Like, what other game would you suggest? Like,
They already look like they're kind of Lego people if you just
they
got
do.
those characters.
They really do, honestly.
There's
They could
nothing
do, like
wrong about it. It's just funny,
they could do some kinda weird diorama or something. I don't know. Uh,
right?
but what
Oh,
else?
you open the case and it's just a little thing of Cloud taking Eris and putting her into like the clear blue Lego pieces, like
You
putting her
know, you
body in
open it
there.
up you open up the Lego PlayStation, and it has materia slots filled with materia.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And for
Oh man.
N64,
Hmm.
it would probably be Ocarina of Time,
Oh, that's a good one.
um
Okay,
or
you didn't go for the obvious, but for some people, which was a
what
lot of people automatically go Super Mario for that one, but they already did a good one for the question block. But yeah,
yeah.
Ocarina would be great.
Mhm.
Open if they open up the N64, like to have it flip it open and just have it be where the Triforce is, like where you go back in time and have the little gem pieces there as Legos. That'd be great. Like make it that little platform inside the church or the Temple of
If
Time.
only they can stick a little sound machine in there that when you opened it, it went da-na-na-na.
Oh, they can do it. I
Yeah,
can do it.
yeah,
It can be done.
it can be done.
Okay. So I
Hire
guess
us,
we did.
Lego.
Yeah,
Hire us for your product on your product suggestions team.
I guess we did have a little impromptu discussion there. That was fun.
A little
I
bit.
wanted to get your opinion on that from your
Mhm.
point of view, because as much as we do a lot of this stuff talking, it is a generational difference between us, and it's kind of
Mhm.
fun to explore that in this way.
Yep. Oh, I wanna talk about the next one. Can I talk about the
Oh
next one?
yeah, go for it. Hit it
Because,
up.
okay, so,
I'm excited about this one too. I have some ideas, so
if you know me personally, like,
I do.
if you know me personally, you know that I am on Discord, like, all the time.
That's
All
like
the
the only way I
time.
really talk to you anymore, other than on here,
Yeah.
is Discord.
I'm on Discord all the time. I can't even begin to tell you the number of Discord, servers that I'm in. Some of them I'm not even active in. Most of them are just for, like, streaming promotions or, catching up on, like, gaming news or, being on other people's streams or something like that.
Right.
Um, and then there's some of them, you know, I'm in to keep in contact with old friends from, like, what that I met on Tumblr, like, God, 10 plus years ago now. Um and then some of them are for,
Tumblr.
you know, the other podcasts that I'm part of, but you don't hear me on. I'm more behind the scenes. We have a Discord that I'm in, and they do like happy hour every Friday and stuff like that.
Right.
Whole all kinds of different Discords for things. So it is very neat. Because I use it a lot when I'm gaming and gaming with other people. I use Discord almost exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when on PC. I don't use any of the like the in-game chat features for anything.
Especially on Switch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Discord on Switch, they might as well just not even bother with that stupid phone app
No.
on the Nintendo stuff. But continue.
But Discord is coming to Xbox for audio chat, which is amazing. They're rolling out it first to the Xbox insiders to test the program before everyone is going to get access. It requires you to connect via the Xbox app on a mobile device, and then it can be transferred to your console. I think they could probably do it in a simpler way on PlayStation, where you don't have to go through an app. But PlayStation, of course, is going to come later.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a fun way to play crossplay titles while chatting. Um, and this is something people already do, by the way. But they use like Discord on their phone. This is what we do at Sea of Thieves all the time. Like my friend John and I were playing, of course, Sea of Thieves, and we got on Discord. Two of us were on our PC, and then one of us was on the Xbox, and they got on Discord on their phone. So this is going to be very beneficial for them. But for PSN, I'm just thinking it of um, like screen sharing. Like if you wanted to stream a game directly to your friends, like they're like, "Oh, what are you playing?" And you don't necessarily want to go live,
That's smart.
like
Yeah.
you could stream it in your Discord. Like that's something that you can do on your PC already through the Discord program software. So why not add it to the Xbox version of it or the PlayStation version of it? I think it's going to be great, honestly.
Yeah. I think both of them will probably have pretty good compatibility. I think if they make this kind of the middle ground, it'll ease a lot of those woes. Like Microsoft's been pretty open about connecting and doing a lot of this stuff. Sony's been a little more hesitant with some of the crossplay stuff on a few occasions, but I'm hoping this will kind of like just be the solve to ease all of these in there so they can
Mhm.
actually. That sounded way worse than I thought it would. But
Speaking of
dang.
Sony,
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. But one of the things I was actually planning on trying to do with Xbox, because one reason I do enjoy it when I wish Sony would let you do this more. If you're wearing headphones during gameplay, your chat can't go through headphones and the TV. It makes you choose. You plug in the headphones, come to the headphones. If you're playing on the TV, it's through there. So if you're streaming it, you can't hear the other person without going through a specific extra piece of equipment for PlayStation. But on Xbox, they do let you do that, and I'm going to test that hopefully this weekend, which is part of what I was thinking about with Sea of Thieves. I was going to mention it, but I wanted to wait till now. Was to make that Discord group, carry it over, and then stream directly from the Xbox, because I found out you can plug a webcam into it and it'll work, which is trippy. I didn't realize you could do that. Just for an easy go, just having fun, it'll automatically record my audio coming in and mix in everybody else's audio. And that could be a fun way to just stream from there and have just impromptu little conversations with people. This is something Joey's been wanting me to try and do as well with his Cerulean Skies groups and stuff, and I'd be kind of interested. I'd love to be able to do it with you, when we can get in and play, some pirate games and stuff, messing around with it.
Pirates.
Yeah, yeah, I know you do. And and then at the same time, I can still have the video feed going through my capture card, being captured locally in full 4K and everything. So as soon as we're done, instead of having to worry about what Twitch managed to capture properly, I could just upload directly from that file and it's crystal clear with all the sound and stuff. So I could do that with Xbox Live, but being able to do that with people through Discord opens up so much stuff.
It
So I
does.
can stream and play and do all that, and not everybody has to be in the same game. If you can hear that, I guess my wife is trying to grind something because it just got really loud in the kitchen.
She's
Um,
she's 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 making some sweets of some kind. Maybe she's making
she's making
cookies.
tacos actually, so she's probably making salsa. So
Ooh.
you guys are going to
She's
deal with
using
that sound.
she's
I'm
using
going
the
to
food
enjoy it afterwards.
she's using the food processor. That's what I use to make my salsa. I love
We
my
have
salsa.
tacos and stuff tonight. I can't wait.
Ooh.
Um, but yeah, I'm just as excited for the Discord stuff. But yeah, you were mentioning that Sony has some more
Some
features going on.
yeah,
You want to tell us about these?
it's being tested.
Test.
Haha. It's being tested with some users via beta right now. But the 1440p video mode is being added. Also folders are being added
Called game lists.
called game
Think
lists. So yay, folders. You can organize your library, whatever. Testers can make up to 15 game lists with up to 100 games in each that can be physical, digital, or streaming titles. So it's just a way to organize what you've played, what you own and have not played, and what you have that you have done both.
honestly, people. I mean, I know you were kind of laughing about it a bit, but I use this feature on my Xbox because you can do that, and it's. I have one that's just for online multiplayer games with my friends, one that's just for streaming services that we use, and it actually goes between my consoles. So like, I'm hoping I would like to do this, so I can organize what's on there.
Um, or you can organize
Sorry.
by genre. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. You can test between 3D sound and stereo, and then choose your preference.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat for those sound lovers here.
Audio
Uh,
files.
yes, the audiophiles. Um, then also, now this is cool. This is very useful for someone like me who
Mm-hmm.
will pick up a game, play it for 40 hours, and then not play it for 6 months and then try to play it again. And then I'll turn it on and be like, I have no memory of this place. Where am I? What was I doing? What is the point here? And then the game itself is just like,
Look,
man,
this is what you were doing.
you were out of luck. This is what you were doing, but was it? Was it really? This is just the mission you attached yourself with, but you don't actually remember what you were doing because you might have been doing something else. However, the PS5 Hub is going to try to help you remember what you were last on during a game. So
Yeah, that's
that's going to
great.
be a cool feature for people like me whose short-term memory is just not good at all. So
Yeah.
that'll be great.
Did you
Um,
ever you played Skyrim, right?
I played a little bit of it. I remember when, like, shortly after it first came out, my buddy John, this is a different
Mhm.
John from who I was mentioning earlier, um, came over. It was shortly after Christmas. I think his like parents had gone to like some I don't know, something. And so
Right.
they just dropped him off at our house and we were just, playing games that we got for Christmas. And he brings over Skyrim and he installs it on my PS3 and goes, we're going to play this. And I remember playing it for like we played it for like 6 hours. It was a good time.
So whenever I play Skyrim, I always do it in bursts. I'll play it for a while and then I
Mhm.
fall off. And when I come back, I never remember what I was doing. But the way that game is, I'm just like, I'm going to pick a direction and just walk that way and see what happens.
And hope for the best.
Right. This might actually be the cure to that. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, you were doing this last time. Like, oh, okay. I'll probably still ignore it and go somewhere else. But the option's there. I appreciate the information.
That's kind of what I do in like all the games I play, especially Breath of the Wild, because I that game is so massive that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go do all these shrines and stuff and just look at stuff. And then I'll get back on and I'll be like, where was I going? What mission was I on? There's so many side quests. Who am I? So
It's been a while since I played it. I need to boot back up my game and then actually record when they added in where it showed the track of everywhere you went through the entire gameplay.
mhm.
Like
Well,
just to see that, it's hilarious.
every time we talk about this subject, I always, always, always bring up the latest Dragon Quest that has come out. Uh,
Yeah, Dragon Quest XI
um,
was great
Echoes
about
of,
this
Echoes
feature.
of an Elusive Age is what it is.
Yes.
Um, it was every time you turn on your game, you're given this nice little recap as it loads,
Yo,
and
idiot, this is what you were doing.
it's like when we last left our adventurers, blah 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 blah. Now here you go, go have fun.
Yeah,
And
well, it's clear. It's like, hey, go. You were on your way to this town to find this person. I'm like, oh, thank you.
yeah, that game though, I'm not finished it yet, but I have heard that it like what you think is the final boss, not the final boss. What
Oh,
you
it never
also
is.
think is the final boss after the final boss, also not the final boss. Like that game has layers. It's like an onion. It's got so many different layers of things
I'm not
going
trying to do a
going
Shrek
on.
voice here.
No. But I hope that more games are like that. So that's why I'm glad that the Sony's trying to do this because they saw a need and they're filling it, man.
Yeah.
Another cool feature is a lot of times I think it's difficult for me to play games because I got so used to being in a party chat with friends,
Mhm.
just playing a game or whatever. Didn't even matter
Right.
what we were playing. They could be playing like Call of Duty and I'll be playing like, I don't know, Lego Marvel superheroes. And we'll just all be in party chat, just shooting the breeze, and they'll be communicating like, games, Call of Duty stuff. And then I'll just be like, I just found Moon Knight. Whee! And like I got so used to that. And then the friends I played with they're not really on PlayStation anymore. They just don't do that anymore. And so I love when they add more kind of social features that kind of helps with that.
Mhm.
So they're adding this thing that's literally called social features. It is going to include inviting a friend to share their screen, which is really good in my opinion. Like,
Yeah. I
oh,
go,
what
hey,
you
I see what you're
playing?
playing. I want to watch it.
Yeah,
I want to see.
let me see what you're playing, that kind of thing. Receive join game notifications if a friend in your party opens up a compatible title. More easily
That's
view
great.
a new friend's profile, um, as well as sending like stickers and voice messages, which is not really like super necessary. Those last two ones, but it's cute. So
Yeah. I really like the one where if you're in a party and someone opens up a compatible game, it'll automatically invite the rest of the party. And before you'd have to send an individual message to everybody. Like
to
you didn't always
everyone.
have, yeah. And this is bringing it up with something you could do on Xbox where you could just hit a button, invite party to game.
Mhm.
And I'm glad to see Sony getting that because that is a really good feature.
It is.
Uh, Rolling back though to the 1440p video mode, I'm really excited about that because it was kind of a weird, uh, like a lacking feature that the PS5 really should have had originally because not everybody plays in 1440, but a lot of the most popular computer monitors and gaming monitors that people use tend to be in the 1440p mode. And a lot of TVs, unless they're like within the last year or so, their 120 hertz mode is only going to be in 1440p. So people that wanted to use the high refresh rate options in games that could do it, the 120 hertz, were having to play in 1080p because that was the closest setting. You had 1080 or you had 4K. You couldn't get that bridge in between. So that's going to open up a lot better operation for people for games, compatibility with more monitors so they can use their setups more. A lot of developers are using 1440p as a lesser graphical mode so they can push stuff like ray tracing and other features because it's really not that big of a graphical drop. Most people don't honestly notice it. If they do, they're full of crap and just pixel counting, which is not how to play a game, people. Um, so yeah, I'm always excited to see new features being brought to the systems, and that just makes the PS5 better for everyone. I think Caleb will enjoy it now that he has one.
Now that he has one, after all this time,
Happy belated birthday, Caleb.
happy belated birthday, Caleb.
He won't listen to this.
Probably
He
not.
doesn't care. What to make him. So who else won't listen is a little Russian chess player because well, a Russian chess robot breaks a 7-year-old opponent's finger during a tournament. Christopher, a top 30 best chess player in the under nines division, went to make a move while the robot was still finishing its move. Because, heavy, dangerous equipment that can move fast enough to break things, and you place it in front of an impulsive child who will just see the move being done, think of the move he wants to do, and then just do it really quick. Because that's great. The robot grabbed his finger and broke it, and they had it on video for a while. They ended up taking it down, but he
Is that not why you hit the clock thing after to like signify the end of your turn?
right the robot. I don't know if they do it or whatever, but
He
like
probably destroyed the clock. I don't know. This seems like the sort of a
smash.
it's the sort of a Terminator movie, okay? Breaking a child's finger.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but so this violated the safety rules and led to the robot grabbing the finger and fracturing it. The boy and the robot actually continued to play after this. Like the kid got patched up and went, and the
Well,
next day the robot
damn.
was
I
still
mean,
playing.
what a trooper that kid is. I mean, he's Russian, I guess, so he's not
Right, a couple shots and he was good
I'm not really surprised.
for an
Yeah.
under 9-year-old, a
Yeah,
7-year-old kid.
just give him some vodka. He'll be fine.
Oh, that's a stereotype. Sorry, guys. Um, so yeah, I mean, I get what it is. The robot made its move, and the way these things, I've had to work with robots when I was in college as well as later on. The robots and they're programmed to make the movements. It's not malicious, but if you get in the way, they're not going to care and they're not going to stop. They are far more sturdy than a human and way, way stronger than us. We are literally just Play-Doh to them if they want to. So yeah,
Don't
the
make robots
kid,
angry. That's
yeah,
the moral here.
the kid should not have put his hand out that quickly, but they also should have had better way of monitoring or keeping the kid from doing that. Because children will hurt themselves. That's why you have to protect them like that. So the Chess Federation Vice President Sergei Smagin, I don't know if that's how I say Smagin, but I know how to say Sergei, stated, quote, "There are certain safety rules, and the child apparently violated them. When he made his move, he did not realize he first had to wait. What's
Whoever taught that
uh,
child did not teach them that, I guess.
well, the
So,
kid plays better chess than I do at 7, so I think he's doing pretty good.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. Now this is the quote I love. President of the Moscow Chess Federation, Sergei Lazarev, another Sergei, also added, quote, "This is of course bad."
This is, of course, bad.
Bad.
Like, sir, I think we know it's bad. Like a kid's finger got
Robot break
fractured.
finger. This is of course bad.
Bad. This is bad.
Oh, I have such a bad Russian accent. I
Yeah.
apologize to any Russian listeners.
Yeah. Well, listen, the only way to get better in an accent is to practice. Um, and I am very out of practice. So,
Yeah. The all of mine ends up becoming Chekhov, and once again, I apologize to the Star Trek fans out there for that. For the nuclear whistle.
vessel.
Whistle.
Ooh,
All
this
right,
next
let's move
now,
on.
a little
Yeah,
bit
go
lighter
ahead.
news. This next one for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, no
Uh,
finger breaking or robot death.
No, but this is very interesting. A legal framework in Japan has been suggested in regards to preserving games
Yes.
by Ken Akamatsu. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Sounds about right.
Who sits on Japan's House of Counselors. He wishes to
Yes.
include the legal preservation of past games in a playable state, along with the existing preservation of books and CDs. In previous released YouTube videos, um, Akamatsu wanted all
Hmm.
games ranging from retro to live service titles to be preserved and playable from anywhere. This is super cool for people like us that like playing older games.
Yes.
And I really want to, I hope somebody somewhere over there framed it in this state. Video games and whether they're modern or retro are a huge part of Japan's history. A lot of our most famous games that we play today came out of Japan. And I think they're big on preserving history over there. They really are. Um they have a very rich history and they want to preserve it. So I hope that they framed it that way when they were presenting it. Um I think this is great. I think that this should be adopted in more places.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's not when he does like when this happens, if this happens, I imagine it will be locked behind some kind of not necessarily a paywall, but like you'd have to pay to get access, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is fine because that pays for the maintenance of whatever they decide to do with this is. It keeps it up. And then maybe whatever doesn't go to the upkeep goes to like other things having to do with that. So they wouldn't necessarily be making money, it would just be maintaining, which
Right.
for
I mean,
that kind of thing, it's fine.
you've also got to deal with the fact of like certain companies, if it was behind some kind of barrier of entry to that, not so much of restricting access,
Yeah.
but just controlling access, they might be more willing to put in some of their games that they may
Yeah.
be like, maybe Konami will put in the older Metal Gear Solid games, even though they're re-releasing them sometimes and stuff like that. And some companies may just put it in there and want people to access it.
Yeah.
I kind of think I like how a lot of libraries will give you access to these things as a checkout policy because not everybody has access to it.
Yeah. And this is
So,
also a really good from an educational standpoint, this is very good too, because there are
yeah,
games out there that would be amazing for people to use in an educational setting, but they can't very well ask their superintendent or their principal to, hey, go buy me an Xbox or a PlayStation because I want to show my students um, all this stuff in Assassin's Creed Valhalla because there's an educational mode. Like,
right.
as great as that educational mode is it available anywhere else? I don't know. But like that's just an example. But like there are
Yeah.
stuff that you can like the stories people tell when they go to Venice, Italy, and the only reason they know their way around is because this is of Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, those were great stories to hear. I was like, that makes sense because
Like it
the
makes
basic
sense.
characters are still the same. So you get so familiar with it, you're there, you
It's
know?
like, oh yeah, if you go over this bridge and then take a left and then a right and go down this alleyway, you'll be at this basilica. Like I'm really big into this kind of preservation because one, it makes it less scary for
Hmm.
game preservationists out there who do a lot of hard work on preserving content
Yes.
and like storing them somewhere, um which is of questionable legality, I might add. um but if it's available legally somewhere, you don't necessarily have to worry about the illegal bit because accessing whatever they put it on is going to be entirely legal. So, do we know when this is going to happen? No.
No.
Do we know if this is going to happen? Also, no. Do we
Yeah.
want it to happen? Yes.
Yeah. This is still in a very nebulous state for its actual way, but I myself and a lot of people on the show have been advocates for the actual necessity of game preservation as an art form, just as books and music and plays and other things need to be preserved as well for future generations to use and to access and to see. Um, so hopefully this will be, help another country kind of lead into more of that. But some more preservation work that's going on is an interesting job position that's opening up at the Pokemon Company. So the Pokemon Company has listed a new Pokemon archivist. Sounds like a Pokemon. I choose you, archivist. Pokemon archivist position. They'll be responsible to build the company's first, quote, internal archive and museum. This will include all parts of Pokemon lore, games, expanded media, and such, officially release physical and digital content, episodes of the shows, movies, and the games themselves. The person in this role will be required to acquire these items for the museum, but they will not be including third-party items. So you're literally getting paid to catch them all, which I had to put that joke in there at least once. Also, you could have an Indiana Jones reference in there of they find an item and say, this belongs in a museum.
You are basically going to be headed. Yeah, you're going to be headed right to like pawn shops and um eBay and lots of different places to acquire these things, of course. But that also begs the question: once they've acquired everything, what does that person do?
They get
What's
all the new stuff that comes out because I guarantee Pokemon Company's going to keep making things.
That's true. That's very true.
And it's going to take a while to get it. I mean,
It
hopefully
is.
some of the rare items, maybe someone will donate it or work with
Yep.
them on it.
Yep. You are going to be handed a Pokemon Company credit card and just be told to
That's a good
have
credit
fun.
card.
Have fun, but don't, you know, lose your mind. Like, talk
I
to us
would,
first before
I
you
would love,
hit the buy button.
they may not even have to. They might be like, oh, did you find it? Just go ahead and get it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll pay for it. We have a new Pokemon game coming out this year. Buy a state if you have to. I
Buy
would
an
love to see
entire
the.
state.
Why'd you buy that state? Well, that's the first place we put the Pokemon game in this country. We bought the FedEx building and all the stuff it went through. Oh, man. Uh, so I wonder if they're ever going to get like, does the Pokemon Beetle that was out from like the 2000 film and stuff like that I had won and had to give up. Does that count as a first party or a third party item? Was it officially licensed or is it production? Is it promotional artwork that they keep?
So
Because I
I
know a person that has the cars.
yeah, there's somebody on TikTok who has the Lugia PT Cruiser
Mm-hmm.
and the Pokemon Beetle, and they're
Yeah,
currently restoring the Lugia one.
yeah.
So
I've actually talked to her because there's a possibility that the Beetle she had, with maybe the one that I had actually won back then, and
why
ended up
did
losing
why did you not get it?
because they popped in and said I was a legal resident of Florida. And I'm like, of course I was. You verified all this stuff before. Like we had gone to the point, and I found all the paperwork for this. Like I'm
Yeah.
thought about scanning it, or even seeing if some of the gaming archivists that we have now would like some of this because they collect a lot of minutia and stuff as well for this. But it's the emails back and forth with Cartridge Network and Nintendo. We were filling out the insurance information for the car. Like we had all the information, the VIN number, all that stuff for it, and they ended up canceling and giving it to somebody else. It was a kid that got the trip and everything. We were desperate at the time. We needed the car. We were newly married. My old Monte Carlo was basically falling apart.
So they
Eh,
basically told you, no, you can't have this car because you live in Florida. Is
Yeah,
that
they dangled it in front of me and then pulled it out because Florida had laws that wouldn't let them do that unless it was state. It basically was laws that were meant to protect the elderly from certain contests, and I ran afoul of it. And I had set up where I could legally move to a family's house back in Virginia so that I could say that I lived in Virginia, but they said it was too late.
does
Like
that but wait a minute,
it was a mess.
doesn't those laws only affect the people above a certain age, or was that before they added that?
I don't know actually,
Oh my god, that is
but it completely screwed me out of having the Pikachu Beetle with an N64 in the back.
But what about these contests that people run in the state of Florida for winning cars? And people win
They,
cars.
yeah, they don't. I don't know. I was I was unbelievably excited. Like I thought it was fake at first until we got all the verification, and I ended up getting a package from them that was like, sorry, we didn't give you the car. Here's a bunch of Cartoon Network merchandise that I have to this day, like a bunch of stuff in there. And I still have the letter that they sent me on actual Cartoon Network letterhead that explains the whole situation. And I had the emails when I first was announced as the winner. And like, I found all this.
Have you told this entire story on Twitter and tagged them in it? Because
I think I looked up some of them and I talked with the lady that has some of the Beatles now. And we
yeah.
talked about it. I sent her pictures of some of the files. I'll scan it in and send you some pictures so you can get a laugh about it.
That
Because I
is,
remember the first time I talked about this, the other guys, my previous group on the show, lost their minds when they realized, like, wait a minute, how do you just not mention you won that car? It's like I just didn't think about it. It's been so long. Like
yeah.
I went through all of it and never ended up getting it. So
Well, that's a bummer that you didn't get it. Now I'm pissed off for you all, and like, it's not even like it was years ago. Like, there's nothing that can be done. But
oh,
still,
this was
that
like 2000, 2001. Like it was way back then.
like that's one that's stupid that they did that.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that they allowed you to enter when there was a law that basically prevented you from winning was a mistake on their part, and they should have given you more than just a gift box. Like,
Yeah, they
yeah,
verified that I lived in Florida when they first contacted me. So they knew I was upfront about it.
that was
Because
so
I didn't remember it saying anything about not being valid in Florida. And I
that
sent
sounds
the
so
email in and
I'm just saying that
yeah,
sounds very suspicious. That like I think they were making excuses, to be
I think
entirely
they were
honest.
too. I think they just decided to go with another, like a kid and his mom or whatever that could get sent somewhere and do all that stuff because it included a trip and all that stuff with it.
And you couldn't do the trip, or
Oh, I could have done the trip, but I mean, they may have been, it was just me, Amanda, and baby Jeremy at the time.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Right.
Amanda, I love her to death. She fought about this, was getting all the paperwork and stuff done and getting it sorted out. Like I said, I have all the stuff where she filled it out and was contacting
Yeah.
people
Mhm.
to get everything done, to get a loan to pay the taxes on the car, all of this. Like she was doing all of it. That
Yeah.
woman's amazing. To her credit, because she swore, she knew I was upset because obviously, I just lost this Beetle. I couldn't get it. Um, she swore I'd be able to get a Beetle. And like a year or two later, that's when I got my 2000 turbo green Beetle. We found it and I got it. And I drove that car for over 10 years before I finally had to replace it. But by God, she kept her word. She got me a Beetle and I drove that
Yeah.
thing. I loved it.
I'm
So,
just, it contests like these that are run by these companies, right? Kind of
yeah,
boggle me because they say, okay, the winners are completely random. But the end all be all is they're not. They they in the end can choose who wins based on what's going to get them the most marketing or the most, you know,
right.
positive press from it.
If this was
So,
D&D, they rolled like 4 or 5 dice and they pick the number they really want. And that gets to be, oh, that's the one we rolled and got it. Here's the random winner, ignoring the other ones they've cut out.
yeah. So that really, shed some light on some things.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll get to the rest of the paperwork and stuff for it because oh, that's bringing up some memories.
that's fascinating. Well, here's some more interesting news.
Yes.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake has been indefinitely delayed.
Yep.
Hmm.
It has gone to the
Wow.
dark side
So this
of the
comes
of
after
yeah.
Aspire Media
Aspire.
Aspire abruptly fired the game's art director and design director earlier this month. Why? The firing occurred after a vertical slice of the game was produced to show where they were, and they found the game wasn't where they wanted it to be, and they spent a disproportionate amount of time and money on the
Hmm.
demo, with the current course of the game's development to be unsustainable. So basically, that just says to me, um, they they were going too hard, too big,
Yeah. I remember
or
this was the
too.
big PlayStation announcement where they were like, "Oh, it's going to be, PS4 and PS5 only for this
Mhm.
remake of it and everything," and it's just kind of fell across. Like the story continued. Bloomberg found unnamed developers stating the game could be a 2025 title now, but there were other ones, if they even continue or if they're even able to continue development. Like it's pretty dire for that. Fun note: Aspire Media is the same group we talked about just a few shows ago that were involved with the whole port of Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the Switch. That their testers never even bothered to find that working through the game was impossible. The game would just crash and you were stuck and couldn't finish it. Somehow it never got tested to that point or seen. So yeah, it's a little concerning.
And now I'm completely unsurprised that it was delayed indefinitely.
Yeah.
So, and here we go to the real news, fam. The SDCC smorgasbord of news.
Smorgasbord.
That we're we're
Yes.
we're we're cruelly we were
Cruelly.
we're cruelly gorging ourselves right now on
An hour
news.
and 14 minutes in, and we're now getting to San Diego Comic Con. But hey, you've got great
Mhm.
conversation.
Yeah.
But
So.
some of these we're going to go through kind of quick. Some of them we will
Mhm.
stop and talk a little bit more about. But
Yep.
we're going to start off with kind of a surprisingly quiet showing from DC Comics and Warner Brothers. We got the Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods trailers shown, which I got to say, both of those look really good. My daughter Jennifer is super excited about the Shazam one because she absolutely just loves that film. Other titles, specifically The Flash, were missing. Nothing
I'm
was shown of them.
not surprised there, considering Ezra Miller's behavior lately.
Yeah,
Um,
they have been acting out the fool.
yep. But
Ugh.
he kind of did show up briefly. The Flash, at least, did show up
Uh-huh.
in another trailer, but they didn't show the face.
Yeah, they
So
covered his face, which is not good. Like that's a level that's like Superman showing up at the end of Shazam for the cafeteria scene, but they never show above his neck because they couldn't get Henry Cavill back because they kind of fired him already. Like that's
I
not a
mean,
good
he.
sign.
So if they hadn't fired him in the end and he was asked, he would have showed up for Shazam, like hands
Oh
down.
yeah, no,
But
Cavill. That man's
oh,
great for the geek culture.
he's a treasure, man. Absolute
Yeah,
treasure. Built
yeah.
his own computer, paints his own minis. Just
Grows his own mustache.
amazing dude. Now
A mustache so
Marvel,
powerful DC couldn't remove it.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's the next Tom Selleck of mustachery.
I was thinking the same thing. That's great. Um,
He has stolen Tom Selleck's mustache and has gained his powers.
Now he has
Uh,
reincarnated Tom Selleck's mustache.
yeah, mm-hmm.
The true power has passed on.
It has. There should be like a passing of the stash,
It's like a
but
Highlander thing, like all the electricity, and you just see his mustache pop out.
exactly. Now the opposite of DC.
Oh yeah,
Marvel, like, gave us cake and let us eat it. They showed
yeah.
off the end of Phase 4, most of Phase 5, and then even a few pieces of Phase 6. Marvel just really said, "Have
Yep.
at it, boys and girls."
So to break this one down, here's what all they went through. The new series is following up the Infinity Saga, will be called now officially the Multiverse Saga, which we knew Multiverse was being involved with all this stuff with King the Conqueror, Spider-Man, No Way Home, um, and these other films dealing with that, and Loki as well. So Phase 4 will include the upcoming She-Hulk Attorney at Law, which they showed a new trailer for, and I think looks absolutely hilarious. I can't
Looks
wait for that
very
one.
good for sure.
And then it will finish up with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which had an absolutely heart-wrenching trailer for
It's
that.
going to be that movie's going to be very emotional for people.
That's going to be some tears. Phase 5 will start with Ant-Man. Ant-Man, damn computer, fixed it. Changed it from Ant to And, or I just mistyped it. I could do that. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania on February 17th, 2023, and will end July 26th, 2024 with the Thunderbolts. I'm curious how they're going to do Thunderbolts now that the actor that played General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, has passed away. So I'm wondering if they filmed any of the stuff prior to that to at least reference in his name, or if that'll be included. Um, the movies that they have listed in here, Secret Invasions is the Disney Plus TV show, spring 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. Echo on Disney Plus, summer of 2023. Loki Season 2 on Disney Plus, summer 2023. Can't
So
wait for that
excited
one.
for Loki.
This one I'm actually really excited for. The Marvels, the movie coming out July 28th, 2023, because damn it, the recent Kamala Khan series, it was absolutely phenomenal.
I've
I
not
I
finished it
loved
yet.
it. Oh, it's so good. I loved it. I know people were complaining about it, but like, not only was
I've
it good, I actually learned a lot about different culture. That's
I've
great. That's
also
always
I've also
wonderful.
not finished Moon Knight. I'm terrible. I know.
Yeah, you need to finish that one. That's a good one. We finally get to see Mahershala Ali play Blade November 3rd, 2023. Ironheart coming fall 2023 for Disney Plus. This character will be shown off first in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So this will be the series to follow that. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, coming winter 2023 and 2024. to Disney Plus, so we get to see more of her because
Wait,
she
did
stole
they
that series.
did they change the title of whatever Agatha?
Yes,
Okay.
they did. I'm trying to remember what the old name was, and it just blanked out of my mind when you asked that. But it is now Coven of Chaos because they're probably trying to bank on the Chaos magic stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully Scarlet Witch will show up again soon
Oh yeah, she will.
cuz she ain't
Daredevil.
she ain't gone.
No, she's not dead. Daredevil, Born Again, Fall 2023 Disney Plus with 18 episodes with Charlie Cox. They're bringing him back. Like, good lord.
He
That is the
deserves it.
longest Disney Plus series now.
He deserves it.
And finally, to shut up everybody that keeps saying, like, oh, is Chris coming back? Is he going to be Captain America again? No, it's going to be Mackie. It's going to be Sam Wilson and Captain America New World Order May 3rd, 2024. And I can't wait.
I
I think he
swear
makes
to
a really, really good Captain America.
I swear to God, if they show his funeral, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Like,
I don't think they'll show his funeral. I would hope one of them shows where the hell he's chilling out at.
yeah,
Like,
like,
I love the jokes of like, he's on a moon base, that'd be great. Because in the
yeah,
comics for a little bit, he was on a moon
he was on moon
base.
base. Yeah, I just think it's like I would love for them to like kind of reference where he is. Like, obviously he's living up his private life now, but like
Well,
I would love continued references because I think it adds to the humor.
well, I think we're going to find out exactly where he is because I think he's going to be involved in some of the upcoming ones because Phase 6 had 11 slots shown with dates and times, but only 3 titles were shown. There's a whole bunch they're still hiding. Starting off with Fantastic Four, November 2024. I really,
I'm
really hope
so
they keep John
excited.
Krasinski.
I'm
I
so
hope they keep
excited.
John Krasinski.
I hope
Like,
they keep
why
John Krasinski, even though they, in
would they kill the
multiverse,
variant? That was a variant.
a
That
variant,
was that
right?
was the not quite as smart read
Yeah,
because he did that.
yeah.
Um,
I really want that, and I really hope that they like. There was that really funny portion on some talk show that I watch where someone's like,
uh-huh.
"Oh yeah, they should just get Emily to play the
That would,
his
I would
wife."
not argue.
Like,
His
I
wife
wouldn't
be
argue. That would be the funniest thing, and they do well together on screen. They do well together on screen. So
yeah. So that would be great. But these next two, I think, are going to probably bring back Cap, Iron Man, everybody for these because these are going to be the big ones. And they're only 6 months apart from each other. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025. And finally, the big lead up to all of this, Avengers Secret Wars, November 7th, 2025.
so I
That's going
don't
to be everyone, I think.
I can see them getting Chris back. I don't think they're going to get RDJ back.
I think for this, they'll pull it off.
I
I
don't
think in
know.
some way.
Like,
Because I have a feeling he'll show up for this as an alternate version or something because they're bringing in all these different worlds and things. And I wonder if he's going to cameo in some way in Ironheart because the story of Ironheart in the comics is she's kind of taught by a hologram, one of his backup holograms of Tony Stark, helping with build the armor and do these things. They might not do that because it looks like she's working with some of the people in Wakanda, but it would kind of be nice, if she's using the Iron Man armor to have something referenced to it.
maybe it's Jarvis.
That would, yeah, Paul Bettany could come back and be Jarvis. I could see that.
Like,
Damn it.
maybe
Came up with a
maybe
good reason.
yeah. I listen, I I coming from someone with the small acting background that I have, I I under I'm really big on trying to respect actors' wishes in most circumstances. Big example of that is with the latest Johnny Depp stuff, which is now
Right.
seems like it's resolved. Everyone's like, well, maybe he'll come back for Pirates now since all this is resolved. I'm like, you'd have to pay that man an exorbitant amount of
Yeah.
money to get him to come back. And I think the same would be with RDJ. Like, when people get involved with like these franchises for a good portion of their lives, and they at some point, even though they love it and they don't mind talking about it with fans, they want to move on. And um sometimes you just have to respect that. And it's, but right circumstances, yeah. I mean, that could happen. I mean, this isn't
If,
until 2025, so who
yeah,
knows what could happen? Who knows
I
what's going to
think
happen in the world between now and then?
Disney, for its almost Akira like level of absorbing everything around it, as people are screaming and dying in it, especially VFX artists apparently recently. Mm.
Mm.
I think they're a big enough group they could write that check. They would be willing to do it with the people they would get in for this kind of accumulation of all of it.
Mhm.
But we'll see. But on a lighter, cuter note, I Am Groot trailer was shown with the series short starting August 10th,
Yeah.
with Tiny Groot being a giant to a little advanced technological group, little tiny people that attack him until he's curled up and farts out a leaf, and they all celebrate eating the leaf. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. And I'm like, this could be funny, I guess. We'll see what happens.
What if the second season looks really good and it comes out at the beginning
Yes.
of next year, which will be
Mm-hmm.
great. Spider-Man freshman year is coming early next year as well. It's an alternate history telling where Norman Osborn is the one to mentor Peter Parker instead of Tony Stark. It's also going to feature Charlie Cox's Daredevil somehow. So it's an animated series, I think.
It
Um,
is.
so that's going to be kind of interesting. They're really with that. This is part of a whole multiversal part. I think they're
Yeah.
playing hard into that now. But this next one is the one I
Well,
royally go
before
ahead.
we get into that, real
Yeah.
quick, the Spider-Man freshman year, part of why I think they're doing that is there's a loophole with the whole Sony deal they're getting around.
Yeah.
Disney can't use Spider-Man and the Spider-Man characters in the films without Sony's permission, but shows they can do whatever they want. So they can have Norman Osborn,
Mhm.
Venom's, Peter Parker, his whole family. They can do all of that on a Disney Plus show. So it's probably going to be like an extended movie, but just technically broken up into shows.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
I just wanted to point out this is their loophole. It's like with the Incredible Hulk. They can't make an Incredible Hulk movie without Universal, but they've been telling his story through other movies like, Thor Ragnarok and all these other ones. And now he's going to be on She-Hulk
Mhm.
tied into that. But that's why we haven't gotten a just Hulk movie.
Yep.
So, all right, continue on for
Oh,
this amazing one.
that's amazing. Yeah, I I
Oh,
I mean,
this is, yeah.
I kinda knew that this was coming. Like,
Oh, they announced it a
they
while back.
announced it a while ago, but they showed more, and
Mm-hmm.
it's X-Men 97. It is a continuation, essentially, of the original X-Men animated series, and literally every single voice actor is returning.
That's
Uh
alive.
That's alive. Yes.
Yeah.
The most importantly is the voice actors for Rogue and for Gambit. People do not believe me when I tell them, listen, you go watch the animated X-Men series. That is what Gambit should sound like. And if he doesn't sound like that, then you're wrong. Like
How
because
about that now?
the most Cajun thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And they did a great job with the X-Men Evolution one too. Great job with that as well.
Yeah, that was a good series.
But like this was the show that me and my friend Cassie were like obsessed with when we were kids. This is what we watched. There was a book in our library at the school that was this like
The
encyclopedia of
Omnibus.
the omnibus encyclopedia of all of the X-Men. All of them
Oh
ever.
no.
It had art, it showed you like it told you what comics and issues and stuff that they were in, where they were shown in the cartoon because this book came out in like the early 2000s. So, it was amazing kind of thing. And like it described the story of these characters and it was like just chef's kiss, beautiful book.
Well,
And
I want to talk about this last one,
yeah.
but to touch on the X-Men one, because the next one's a big one for me.
Yeah.
The X-Men 97, like you said, it's picking up exactly where the original 97 series ended, which
Mhm.
was Charles Xavier having to be taken by Liar to the Shi'ar people to be healed, but having to live out in space. So because of that, Magneto is now taking over and becoming the leader of this group, kind of trying to become better like he did in the comics. And he's got that purple big M
Oh,
chested
his redesign is
uniform.
gorgeous.
Well, that's a classic 80s
Yeah.
suit that he used to
Yeah.
wear. So it was kind of cool that they actually dug back into that. But it is going to be kind of neat to see where they literally pick up from that and keep
Mhm.
going. So
And there is and it's it doesn't say how long it's gonna go. Like, I think
yeah.
I'd say they just say for now just one season is what I think they said. But I don't if it does really well, I can see them doing more. Like I honestly can.
Oh, I'm
Um
looking forward to the new toy line that has to be with this. It's just gonna have to
Oh,
happen. Like,
yeah,
come on.
but the one of the more interesting things to me about the whole voice actor thing
Uh-huh.
is, the person who voiced Jubilee is gonna be back, but is not gonna be voicing Jubilee. They're gonna be voicing someone else
Really?
to allow someone who actually is, like, part of that culture and
Oh, okay.
race to voice Jubilee.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of, like, good, like, that was interesting. I thought that was neat, of that, voice actor to do that because it's all about, stepping aside and letting someone new take on the role,
Right.
which is cool, I thought. Now I'll let you talk
Alright.
about this one because I know you're very excited for it.
Yes. So they hinted at this in What If season 1 where they had an entire episode and a couple things involving the Marvel Zombies. But now they're actually making a Marvel Zombies series on Disney Plus for 2023. This will be, it's kind of loosely based on the original Marvel Zombies comics, but they're using newer characters, including like Shang-Chi, and a lot of those that are in there. But this is going to be a full, one of the first and the full TVMA or mature rated show. There will be blood, guts, gore, violence, cursing. All of it will be in there. You will see people eaten and everything that was in the comics like that because it got very
Mhm.
graphic. And they showed a bunch of the characters that were already zombified, like Hawkeye and things like that. That are a version of Abomination. Um, all these other characters that they're going to be having to deal with. And they had Icarus from the Eternals, but because he's not quite a real person, because of the way the movie showed it, he's like partially zombified, partially not. He's like in this weird in between space.
Mhm.
That was not covered in the comics, so I'm really curious how that's going to go. Um, so yeah, I'm just like super excited for this one because Marvel Zombies, that was a series I collected and loved reading. Like I'm a huge zombie nut. I love that kind of stuff. So I was happy to see that. Yeah, Kamala Khan's another one that's going to be in there. Um, Milana Belovich, Black Widow's sister, is one of the
Mhm.
characters. Um, was it Agent Wu is going to be
Yeah,
in there? He's like,
good.
how did he survive? Like, I don't know how, but he's there. There was a couple of them that were in there, so I'm really curious to see how this goes. So moving on from Marvel, we'll talk on. There are other things in the nerd world that Comic Con is all about. Mostly important and fun is Dungeons and Dragons. So they announced a movie recently called Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, which is great. It looks good. It
Looks
has some great
cute.
stuff in there. I thought it was hilarious. The film stars Hugh Grant as the rogue villain, Michelle Rodriguez as the barbarian, Chris Pine as the bard, Justice Smith as the sorcerer, Reggie Jean, I apologize if I said your name wrong, Page as the paladin, and Sophia Lillis as the druid. That's great, but damn it, I am so happy because if anybody else remembers, they made a D&D cartoon series back in the mid to late 1980s about a group of kids that were on a Dungeons and Dragons ride at a park. They got pulled into a portal and they had this little tiny guy called Dungeon Master that was helping them. They all got their classes and had to fight Tiamat and all this other stuff. And it was like 1 or 2 seasons that it went on. But I remember this as a kid. They announced, they haven't shown them yet, that cast is being made into real life as another party that this group is having to deal with and compete with during this movie. And that is the deepest cut reference that makes me so giddy inside.
I hope they, like, pepper in other references, like, no one likes to talk about the other Dungeons& and Dragons movie, but
Oh, that would be great.
I think it would be funny to pepper in some references into that, and then other,
Yeah.
like, tabletop media, like, all the famous, like, well-known, Twitch and live streams and podcasts and stuff that are out there now that exclusively operate by using D&D system. Like, I think that would be great to, like, I would honestly be great marketing for this movie is to reach out to those people and
I'd
Like,
be a little hesitant because some of those would kind of try and like detract from just like the stars of the movie trying to
I
do it
don't
instead
I
of
but
referencing itself.
the thing is
Because I've
I don't think they will. I think they would just like, "Hey, do you want a bit part as an NPC?" Like, literally,
that would be fine,
like,
but
I think that
some
would
of
be fun.
them, yeah,
Some of them
I've
would
seen
abuse it.
sometimes yeah, they kind of try and steal the spotlight from them, and it
Yeah,
becomes all about that,
yeah.
But as a
But
bit piece or something, that would be great.
yeah, I think it
Like,
would be like somebody talked about like putting the Critical Role people in the background somewhere.
like let one of the parties show up in like a scene right before a dragon like sets the whole group on fire. Like just for a
Like,
few seconds, you see them all standing there going like, "What the hell?" and they just all
and then
burn.
they all die, yeah,
Right? Like
or
that would be
someone gets
hilarious.
eaten by, like, a dragon or something, it
So
could be
let's,
literally a second, like, a second,
yeah,
like, I'm thinking, like, the levels of, you know, when Deadpool 2 came out and Brad Pitt was like, "I will be only be on it if I only get this many seconds on screen, and you have to kill me," essentially
yep,
like that. Like, that's
that
the
was
kind of
great.
cameos and nods that I'm thinking about. Like,
Yeah, and let's be clear, this movie, and people were complaining about it, but I'm actually kind of glad they're not taking themselves so seriously. This is a comedy. That's why I'm saying like these kind of deaths, because not because it's like, oh, I don't like them, I know it's violent, because it would be hilarious to see them and then have something happen, and
I think D&D is at its core, though it like and because I play Monster of the Week on occasion with friends. Like,
yeah,
the whole point of it is you have to be as comedic as you are serious.
yeah, you have to have fun with it, just get into it.
And
And
that's
I
what
think
it is. It's fun. And I am loving that there's so many more production companies out there that is just doing fun movies.
just okay, Hugh Grant loves to ham it up as a villain, so I'm looking forward to that because that man can be really funny with stuff. But it was a stroke of genius, I think, at least in my opinion, of putting Chris Pine as just a horny bard. Like, just he's going to be trying to sleep with people, sing, and do all this stuff, and it's just that is Chris Pine. Like, for a lot of the stuff he plays, be it Kirk, be it this, it's really funny. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. But we'll go ahead and jump into from Dungeons and Dragons to the world of Star Trek. Um, Rachel, while we're doing this, is making notes and making it really big, like she's trying to get my attention. Uh,
I'm not.
I'm just messing with her. It's funny. She's trying to edit. It's great. Um, for people that want to peek behind the curtains, we do all the notes on Google Drive, so we have it pulled up, and as we're editing it, we all see it, and it's just kind of funny. So, Star Trek Picard season 3 character teasers were revealed. We knew going in towards the end of season 2, the announcement for season 3, that the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation will be returning, but this is the first time we get to see them. We saw Picard, Riker, Deanna Troi, Beverly Crusher, Seven of Nine, Raffi, Geordi, and even Worf shown. And Worf got that gray going on. He's like a little silver fox with the beard and the hair, which people are like, oh, well, Klingons live longer, he shouldn't be like that. But I will argue, if you go back to the final episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, when they were in the future timeline, Worf had grayish hair then too. So guess what? It's canon and it happens. Uh,
My only question is, where's Wesley?
um, Spoilers for the last season, Wesley showed up and that was explained. So we will go on from there. I don't want to ruin it for people, but there is an answer and possibly other stuff coming up in the future of why he would not be on this.
Okay.
For those listening, I thumbs it up. But yeah, no, Wesley has been addressed. You just got to finish Picard season 2, which I will admit, not the best season of a Star Trek show. They kind of let it get away from themselves, but it had some moments, but it could have been better.
I think
Um,
all Star Trek series have their times where it gets away from itself. They have to. It's Star Trek. It's like a rite
yeah,
of passage.
well, it's like Next Generation season 1 was kind of rough, but then they started finding their stuff in 2 and 3 and became absolutely amazing. Um, but this will be basically the final season of the series, not just for Star Trek Picard, but it's almost kind of a last, like an eighth season or a extension of season 7 for Star Trek: The Next Generation, giving them a close to all of them. I don't know what the actual story is. I know some people are upset because they're not bringing back all of the cast that were in the first 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard, but I also kind of get that finishing up Patrick Stewart's work with Star Trek after literally decades in movies and shows and stuff with Next Generation and this whole cast, it should kind of have a focus on this group to finalize where that goes. They can make other shows later on beyond Picard that cover these other characters. Um, we could do stuff with Seven and Raffi and all them. Um, but I think this is that closing that we kind of need for it. I'm really looking forward to it. Is it nostalgia bait? Hell yeah, I'll be there. You got me by the hook. uh, Onwards of that, have you ever seen any of Star Trek Lower Decks?
No.
Oh my god, you need to. It's so funny.
Listen, what service is it on?
It's on the one that I can give you a login for if you just ask nicely.
Oh, we're saying that kind of thing on the air. Don't say
I don't
that.
know what you're talking about.
I heard nothing.
Oh, you live in my house. You're part of my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
You're one of my kids. Rachel, eat your vegetables.
I'm the adopted child.
Every child's my adopted child, basically. I'm everyone's nerd dad. I will love and accept you. So Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3 trailer release. The show starts August 25th, so I'm really excited for this one. It continues where Season 2 left off. Spoiler warning, if you have not seen it, go back and watch it. But it left off with Captain Freeman being arrested for allegedly destroying the Pakled planet, which I have a feeling they probably blew up themselves because Pakleds are idiots. And that's kind of the running joke with them. Heavy references to Deep Space Nine, including including Cisco's Family Restaurant in New Orleans being directly shown, Deep Space Nine itself being shown, and then the original series score with a general recreation of the opening of the show credits being recreated as they're, Freeman's walking off the bridge telling them, buy me some time. And they're trying to figure out what to do. So they're like, just fly around the station like we're admiring the pylons, and like you see him fly by like it does in the opening of Deep Space Nine with another ship, and the wormhole, the Majoran wormhole opens up in the background with the music. It's like basically almost one for one the title scene. I was in tears laughing because it was just fantastic. I know you're not a big Star Trek person, but all of this is like hitting me in just every spot that I'm just like, yeah, this is great. But on top of that, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I'm going to laugh so much with this. Strange New World Season 2 will somehow have a crossover with the characters of Ensign Beckett, played by Tawny Newsome, and Ensign Brad Boimler, played by Jack Quaid from Lower Decks. But they're going to be in live action. I don't know if this is going to be some time travel shenanigans, which could be hilarious, or if this is going to be Lower Decks making fun of the whole like end of Star Trek Enterprise, where the last episode is Riker running a holodeck simulation of it, and that's how they had to close it and went on from there. Like, are they running a holodeck simulation of the old Enterprise before Kirk, and they just happen to look like they're real because they're in there? I don't care. However this happens is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And we get to see Anson Mount possibly animated, so that'll be good. Because, who doesn't like Anson Mount? The man's great. Except Scarlet Witch doesn't like him. Blew his head out. Because he was blackballed. All right, so that I'll end on my nerdgasm of Star Trek. Sorry, people. I love me some Trek. But would you, Rachel, like to talk about this next one? Because I thought this was a good one.
So this was first shown last year, but Avatar Studios, which is led by original Avatar creators and producers, Michael DiMartino and Brian
Konietzko, I think.
Konietzko. Yeah, I had to think for a second.
Go with Konietzko. Conan Seg, he's a car.
Oh my god.
He's the fastest producer around.
So they have announced a new movie that's going to take place after the original Avatar, The Last Airbender. Like it's going to have the same people in it essentially, but they're older adults. So basically what we've been asking for a long time. No exact release date was given, but they did show art of the characters in their older forms as a team. They've kind of, that was art I think some of it kind of was art they had already kind of showed
Oh, okay. I
Like
wasn't aware of that.
I think it came out when Korra was coming out because they had like a family photo with all of them essentially. But this is going to be the first story that they tell in a
Oh.
series that will span the mythos of Avatar history and world in multiple TV series, movies, and other platforms.
Mhm.
Please take note that I think they have said that it will not necessarily follow the comics that came out following the Avatar series. So
That usually
um,
happens, yeah.
so everything with Zuko's mom and stuff like that. Um, it might tell
Oh,
that story eventually, but not in regards to this movie. So
right.
just keep that in mind. Like I don't know that they won't tell those stories, but they've kind of already told them in other media, so it kind of seems repetitive for them to do that again.
Well,
So
they might adapt it in some way to
yeah,
fit it in there,
yeah.
or if they do adjustments, that's what they usually do for comics to cartoons.
But I love the Avatar series. I love both of them. Legend of Korra was really good. The
I
original
I
was exceptional.
I will sadly admit I have the Blu-ray set for both of these.
Mhm.
I need to find the time to sit down and finally watch Korra. I've heard really good things about it, and I
So
have it.
I
I just keep
watched
forgetting to watch it.
I watched all of it except for the last couple of episodes, I wanna say, um,
Mhm.
when I was sick in 2020. I was,
Oh,
out for almost 3 weeks from work, and I had literally nothing to do but watch TV, and I watched literally all of Korra.
good use of your plague time.
Yes, it was very good use of my plague time. So, but it's very, 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 very good. And this, if this does is successful, like there's
Mhm.
supposed to be an Avatar after Korra. And I would love for them to tell the tale of, that Avatar getting like back in touch with their ancestors and stuff like that. Cause that's part of I'm not going to spoil it for you, but that's kind of something
Right.
you'll
Well, I
find
know
out
they
when you watch
also they
Korra.
talked about
So,
some of these when they said Avatar history, like maybe going back and visiting like Avatar Kyoshi, like some of the more extended stuff with
mhm.
her. Because I know they had some of the episodes in the original series where they were trying to debate with the people living there what her actual history of what had
Yep.
happened with that island
Mhm.
being separated.
Yep.
They might,
And that
have some shorts
she
for
was
that.
a big woman. That was a tall lady. Oh my gosh.
Good old
So,
Kyoshi.
good old Kiyoshi. That was a bodybuilder of a woman. But I'm excited for it because I have very fond memories of watching Avatar, the original series, as it came out.
Hmm.
I would have watched it, Korra, but it was released in kind of a weird way, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was having trouble kind of keeping their episodes in order and stuff at the time. I think like it was
Yeah.
not consistent enough to really watch it.
Yeah, but it's very exciting. And speaking of things, TV
Yes.
series and stuff like that, this is a long time coming. But did
Hmm.
did you ever read those really well known popular dragon books back many years ago,
Uh,
Jeremy?
I did not, but my kids did, and I believe my wife did as well, because she's more
Okay.
of an avid reader than I am. But I am familiar with this series, so I'm happy to hear this part of it because this seems like it should have been a Comic Con announcement, but I think it was leaked later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you do continue the hat trick and get the last of these stories, Avatar, this
Yes.
one and the next one,
Yeah.
because I know
So
these are all about stuff you love.
yes. So I'm an avid reader, and
Hmm.
I read these books as they came out, much like some of my other favorite series out there. But Aragon is going to be turned into a live action TV series. It's currently in early development at Disney Plus. Um, it's for those of you who don't know, it's this series is going to be based on the Christopher Paolini young adult novel series, The Inheritance Cycle, and Aragon is the first book in the series. And there is 4 books total in the series. Um, they did try to make, of course, Aragon into a movie.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say anything else than that. Um,
They tried.
it had some good effects. It had some pretty solid actors in it, but I will once again say what I said about the Percy Jackson movies, which a good actor cannot help a bad script. Doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
Just saying.
Which I'm glad. I
Um
mean, Percy Jackson is another series kind of like this that's being brought back, which is great.
yes, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that yet. So
Well, I know
We'll
the
see.
creator is directly involved, so that makes me feel better
Which
because
is
he's
good. There's some
yeah.
casting things that I don't quite agree with for the same reasons why I have not agreed with other casting things that they many different TV series and movies are doing. Um, but that's a topic of conversation for another time. But Paolini is going to serve as co-writer and executive producer for the series, which is both good and bad since I know how things go when writers are directly involved with adaptations. Bert Salky Sack, I don't know. Will executive produce under his Collab 21 banner, the 20th with 20th Television producing. He's currently under an overall deal with Disney Television Studios, which 20th TV is a part, and the search is currently on for a showrunner. It has
Okay.
been a long time coming, according to Paolini, and he's had so many different like um meetings about this, but he was very thankful for the fans who've been suggesting it until they're blue in the face for so many years. um but the last book, which was the fourth book, um came out in 2011, which was when I graduated high school, so
Oh wow.
it's been a little while since these books came out, but not like a huge amount of time. But um and of course, in the Variety article, which we are reading from right now, it goes on to talk about the movie adaptation, which we're not going to mention more than that because
You really don't like that movie.
it's I mean it's one of those things like some of these book a lot many moons ago there was many books that were made um into movies, and most of them were bad except for a particular series which is now widely successful. So, yeah, you just have to do it the right way with the right production company and with the right screenwriter and scriptwriter, and make sure the author is involved but not too involved. Like there's a delicate balance for all of this kind of stuff. Um and speaking of books being turned into TV series, and this is the last bit of news that we'll talk about. Um Another favorite book of mine, book series, is the Vampire Chronicles, and they're turning an Interview with a Vampire into a series, a TV series.
Ooh.
So it is very dark. It's very bloody. It's like
This is
I'm
the same series that the Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt movie were based from, correct?
correct, and
Back. Okay.
adore that movie.
I
Hate
remember
Queen of
those.
Hate Queen of the Damned with um
Oh, I forgot
Count.
that was connected. Yeah.
Yeah, hate that movie because some of the casting was good. Aaliyah as Akasha, like 10 out of 10, like amazing. That was a great
Mm.
casting.
Sadly, I
Um
think that was her last movie.
yeah, she proceeded to die in a plane crash
Yep.
right before the movie came out.
Yeah, I
Like
remember that.
like if nothing says that film wasn't cursed, I don't know what is. But in any case, there's a lot different about this adaptation. I'm like I said, I'm an avid reader. In the original book, this movie's based a very long time ago, before there's even really it's in the 1700s, 1800, like it's a ways back.
Right.
And Louis is a plantation owner, Louis de Pontlac.
Hmm.
He's a plantation owner who owns
I'm glad you remember that name because
slaves.
I didn't remember it.
Um, Louis de Pontelac, and then Lestat de Lincourt. Yep, I know them. I know them very well. Um, but he's a plantation owner. He owns slaves. Like that's what he is. And there's all
Mm.
this stuff going on with his family, and he has like a existential crisis, and Lestat proceeds to stalk him and then turns him into a vampire purely because he wanted a house to put his dad in so his dad could die. And there's some other reasons why too. But in this new adaptation, it's a completely different time period. Louis is not white. He's mixed. He is a brothel owner. It's a
Huh.
it's it's like, here's where the original book is. Here's where this one is. Like, my hand is not even shown. Like, I hope they stick to the spirit of the characters. I'm excited to see how it turns out. If
Hmm.
nothing else, they cast Lestat perfectly. They even got his freaky, very scary looking hands correctly, and his mouth that's too big for his face correct. Like, casting on Lestat, perfect. But I'm not sure how this series. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. I really don't, because all the other adaptations of this have been okay. Like, Interview with the Vampire was great. Other than, I love Antonio Banderas, but him as Armand I'm sorry, he was too old for it, and he wasn't cherubic, and he wasn't a redhead. Like, there's some things that are pretty titular to these characters, and that's one of those things that irk me a little bit. But I'm interested to see how it goes. If nothing else, it'll breathe new life into the fandom. Um, but another important thing to note about this series is the author of the original books passed away. Like, she's now dead. Anne Rice is as she's dead, and it's she was a great
Yep.
author, and some of the things that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s with the fandom aside, um, if it goes well, she won't really, like, I don't know what kind of wishes she left behind in regards to the series. So it could either continue to go well, or it could go completely off the rails, and there's no way of telling. So,
Yeah, I'm curious who has control over the estate and the IP.
probably Chris, her son.
Ah,
Um, that's what I would guess. But another thing to note about this series is the guy who did American Gods.
yes.
He was supposed to be the showrunner of it when it first got started. Like, he was supposed to be the one that was handling it all, like directing it, everything. Um, and then he just dropped it. Like, I don't know if it was like a payment thing, or things weren't moving as fast, or he wanted to
Are you
move
talking
on.
about Neil Gaiman?
No, the guy
Oh, okay.
who the guy who like directed, like,
Oh, okay. I
yeah.
thought you meant like the guy that actually
No, no, no,
wrote
no.
the
No, no,
books
no.
for
No, no,
American
no.
Gods that
The
these came
American
from.
Gods TV
Okay.
series. He
Because I
was
was
the
like,
one
Neil
who was
Gaiman hates doing that stuff.
yeah, no. The guy who headed up the TV series, and that was a damn good TV series, by the way. He was the one that
It
was
was. I need to
supposed
finish
to
it.
be involved with it. And I remember me and my friend Caroline were just like, "Oh my god, this is going to be so good." And then fast forward like 6 months, a year and a half later, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, no, he's not involved anymore." And we were so mad. So I think the biggest tragedy from this series is not all the weird changes that I'm not sure how I feel about, but the fact that we're never going to get to see Interview with the Vampire the way he would have imagined it, which I assure you probably would have been a whole hell of a lot different, and also
Hmm.
extremely book accurate. And it also would have probably developed on the nuances that Anne wasn't necessarily allowed to write then. So,
Hmm. Okay.
but yeah, that's ending on a book note.
Book note.
We're putting a bookmark in.
We're gonna. I'm that monster. You fold the corner of the
Oh
page and.
god, I'm leaving.
It's like I hate you now. So on that terrifying note, we will go ahead and close this out. So thank you once again for joining me. This show has been great fun for going over all this stuff from Comic Con because we had so much going on.
Oh my
But
god.
where can these lovely people that have put up with us for this entire time find you on the internet?
So you can find me on the internet, mainly on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/outrageous, all one word, OUTRACHEOUS. Same thing on Twitter, except there's an underscore between out and rageous. And of course on Instagram as well. Normally I post on my Twitter when I'm going to go live on Twitch, and I play a lot of Sea of Thieves. I haven't had, I thought I would have more time to stream with my new job and my new schedule, but I'm still kind of working into that a little bit. Um,
Right.
but mainly I've been streaming Sea of Thieves. I know for a fact that I'm going to stream um some things that are coming out in winter of this year that I won't mention necessarily, but there's things coming out in winter that I will probably be streaming a lot every single week. Uh And of course the Final Fantasy VII stuff when that comes out. But yeah, it was great being on the show and just talking about stuff. It's awesome, like, getting to nerd out about these things again because
Yes, it's
I
always great.
I mention it at work and they go, "Oh, yeah, I saw that." And then just,
Why aren't you foaming at the mouth? What's wrong with you?
Exactly, exactly.
You know, why aren't you getting like I am with Star Trek or you are with this, other stuff? And come on. Well, you can find me on the internet at Zenspath, Zenspath, over on Twitter. You can find the official Twitter account for the podcast at ZenspathPod. You can talk to us, as mentioned before, on Discord at bit.ly/Zenspath Discord. All one word, all lowercase. You can find, I'm actually going to try and stream some this weekend. I'm trying to finally get back into that a little bit, which eventually I need to work with you on getting some artwork maybe done.
Mhm.
But I'm going to try and stream each of the chapters of Live a Live, Laugh a Live, whatever the hell you say.
Live
Uh,
live laughter.
Live a live, laugh a laugh, love a love,
Level
whatever.
love. Level love.
Um,
Yes. Level up.
I've seen that joke a bunch, but my mom was way too much into that. So she would always do the live, laugh, love. I'm like, come on, mom, stop. But anyways, but you can find me over at twitch.tv/Zenspath, COM. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, twitch.tv/Zenspath. It's youtube.com/Zenspath, COM, where I do the moving forward video series where I'm recording the openings to different games, kind of to preserve that, turn on the game, you see all the demonstrations and footage. And there's actually a lot of stuff that gets shown when people just hit start and skip it that they don't realize what's there. Which has always been kind of fun to do. And I just modded my GameCube, so there's a lot more import and other titles I can now do that I can get access to. So look forward to some of those coming up. But other than that, it's been episode 72 of the Zenspath 4-Button Podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Whee!
There are 4 lights!